Hi, everyone. This is Ken from Ken's Corner, and I got a special guest. I've had him on here before, but it's been a long time. Former WWE Mr. Jacques Rougeau from one half of the Fabulous Rougeaus with his brother Raymond, and of course the Mountie. Jacques, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. And can't forget the Quebecers, and 3 times WWF Tag Team Champion, and the only Canadian to ever pin Hulk Hogan. How's that?
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry I missed all that. The Quebecers was right in my error. I appreciate you mentioning that.
I'm always humble, huh?
That's okay. That's okay. I should remember these things. You are a Canadian legend right here in Canada. You know what? I'm just going to jump right into some of these questions for you. Since your wrestling school closed in 2018, I know you've had success with your wrestling academy shows. I know they had great success with that. But what's going on with you? What's keeping you busy? What's keeping Jacques Rougeau busy these days?
Well, this year I joined the company GPW Wrestling in Gatineau, Quebec, and so I'm back. I'm back on the scene of wrestling again. I joined Four Partners, and they've been having great shows at the Slush Puppy Arena every year, once a year for a big show. And so I was there last year when they honored us last year in the Slush Puppy Arena when they raised the flag of the Rougeau family up to the ceiling of the building that holds 5,000 people. And so it was an amazing night. And after that, then since the owners of that company were former students of mine, you know, in many years worked for me for my family-orientated show, then they've been asking me to join them for a while. And then I said, why not? You know, if I want to stay young. And so I joined them, and we got a hell of a show coming this year. It's going to be a tremendous show on May 30th. So I've been keeping busy with that, Ken.
Thank you. Actually, I have an advertisement I just want to pause for a second here, Jacques. It is your Collect Major figurines. I think the public would love to have a take a look at this. Okay, we're back. Can we talk about these figurines a little bit before we move on, Jacques?
Yeah, I'm so happy. You know, I have quite a few figurines now going around the world, but this one I was contacted by Matt Cardona, and it seems to be a line of figurines that are extremely popular going around the world these days, and so I'm so excited. They're bigger. They're bigger figurines than the usual ones that we sign, and so I can't wait to get one. You could pre-order them now, but I can't wait. They're supposed to send me a couple of samples, and I can't wait to give one to my grandson, you know.
That's amazing. I'm going to have to get in on that order. I would love to have one for myself and for my kids. That's really nice. Actually, my next question. You've done a lot of anti-bullying and anti-drug talk. Do you talk about stories that come straight from your wrestling career?
Actually, not really. I used the knowledge and the experience I gained through the rough times and hard times of the bullying, but I turned it into a way where I could address kids, because the way it happened to me was pretty a Western kind of Western kind of stuff, and rough and rugged and extreme. So I couldn't go into schools and relate to the same message or what happened to me. So, but I took the knowledge of what I knew, the experience, what I had, and I found a way to show the kids to beat bullying without using violence, which wasn't my case. And so it was a great run. I did it for like over 25 years, to go into schools like that, and it was amazing just to see those faces and so attentive, because everybody knows that they could be a target, anybody. And but to see also the people that I've touched that would come and meet me after a conference, and just these once in a while person, little kid that would come to me and cry in my arms and tell me that I helped them, and that I gave them tools. It was an amazing journey to give those conferences against bullying.
That's really nice. Thank you for that. My next question for you is: you were inducted into the Wrestling Life Hall of Fame with your brother Raymond. Was it mostly a celebration for you, or was it just kind of a bittersweet moment for you?
My God, Ken, it was so amazing. It was just so amazing because having Europe, the whole Europe, the animators, the podcasters, the fans vote and have Raymond and I in the Hall of Fame. All the UK, United Kingdom voted for us to be there, and so many words and messages came like finally, and having some recognition and having the fans from the UK acknowledging us like that in the Hall of Fame, it just took a big weight off my shoulders because I've been talking about it for many, many years. Like, how come the Rougeau brothers or the Mountie are not in the Hall of Fame? It makes no sense. We gave I gave 11 years in that 25 days a month on the road for them. My brother Raymond gave 4 years on the road, then 17 years as a spokesman commentator in French. Always exemplary, always. Business professional, and all the characters that we did, everything we did got over. We were lucky. The fans loved us. They hated us, but we marked the wrestling, and I was very bitter for many years at Vince McMahon and Triple H and them, and then finally I realized that it was all political. If they put somebody in the Hall of Fame, it's because it's going to help them sell tickets, or it's going to be something that's going to help them. They didn't give recognition to the guys that deserve it, like Demolition, like the Killer Bees, like I could go on, and all the teams that should be in the Hall of Fame. And so when the Ben Veal and the Life of Fame in Europe called me up and told me that, it was an amazing moment. I called my brother Raymond up right away. I said, Ray, we're going to do a podcast next week. I said, we just been inducted in the Hall of Fame. He says, really? And we were like just so happy. It was like a big weight off our shoulders.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so earlier you mentioned GPW. We're going to pause for a second for some messages. You had some messages sent to you by the Dynamite Doll, and another one I think was that Diana Hart. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's who I seen. And of course, we're going to show the poster for this upcoming event at Gatineau. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I'm Bronwyn Billington, the Dynamite Doll. That name might sound familiar because my father is the Dynamite Kid of the British Bulldogs. It was my father who had a feud with Jacques Rougeau many years ago. Now come May 30th, my cousin Harry Smith will be stepping in the ring at the Royal Rumble against Jacques Rougeau in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada at the Slush Puppy Center. There's so much buzz about this match. I think it would be worth it to fly myself in because there's no way that I want to miss what's going to happen. I can't wait.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Jacques. I've known you as Jimmy since 1977. I just want to send you a quick message regarding the Royal Rumble. I've gotten a few messages from fans of yours saying they think that you should pull out of the Royal Rumble. I don't think that's necessary. My son Harry, he can be impulsive, but at the same time, he's very methodical and, he's got that catch wrestling mentality. Like a chess player, he thinks pretty far in advance. So, I don't think he's going to fly off the handle. I mean, I will talk to him. I am kind of disappointed that there's been some agitating going on, and that has absolutely nothing to do with me. But as Harry's mom and a voice of reason, I'm going to talk to him, and I think everything is going to be okay. I think so. So just everyone have cool heads. Cool heads prevail. So, okay, take care, my friend.
Okay, we are back with Jacques Rougeau, and we're going to talk about the GPW Legends Mania Civil War 6 V1 event on May 30th, 2026 in Gatineau. That's a big event. I just want to talk about something that was on the poster, Jacques, that really struck my interest. it was you calling out Harry Smith, that's Davey Boy Smith's son, for a Royal Rumble clash. What's the backstory, and are you bringing the old school heat to this match?
No, you got it all wrong. I didn't call him out. He called me out. But let me just say what happened here is 6 months ago I agreed to be in this Royal Rumble on the night of the 30th of May in Gatineau because I was looking for a way to give me incentives to keep going to the gym and to staying in shape. And, at my age, 65 years old, you need incentive. And so I said to the partners in my company, hey, I'm going to go in the Royal Rumble. If Bushwhacker Luke could do it, I could do it. So, so let me go have some fun. And then about 4 months later, Harry Smith, the son of the British Bulldog, he called the company when he saw the advertising go out, and he called my partners without my incentive. I didn't even know about it. And he said that he wanted to join the Royal Rumble, and Harry Smith is such an athlete. He's a monster. He's a jiu-jitsu champion. He's Japan champion. He's a monster. He's 265 pounds. He could eat me up and chew me out like he wanted to. But anyway, the last time I saw Harry Smith was like 30 years ago, and I was in Philadelphia. I was wrestling his dad, Davey Boy Smith, for the Intercontinental Championship, and we had become friends, me and Davey Boy, after the real incident that happened between me and Dynamite Kid, where there was a really big altercation in the dressing room where he beat me up, Dynamite Kid, in the dressing room, and left me in a pile of blood. And then a week later, I came back with a roll of quarters and knocked all his teeth out of his mouth. And then that was the end of the Bulldogs. 2 weeks later, they were out of the business. That was it. But over the years, I've been doing podcasts and interviews. We spoke about it in the past. And I always referred to the incident with the British Bulldogs. But even though a year and a half later after the incident, when I came back as a Mountie and he came back as Davey Boy Smith, as soon as he walked in the dressing room for the first time, I hadn't seen him in a year and a half. He came in and he asked me to go in the showers with him, and I kept my distance with him because I was afraid he was going to sucker punch me or something. And finally, I followed him in the shower, and he laid out his hand. And he wanted to shake hands with me and said, listen, Jacques, he says, I want bygones to be bygones. I want us to be able to work together. He says, what you did to Dynamite, he deserved it. And he says, I don't want no problems. And I was so happy. I was so relieved because I was so worried when I saw his name on the card that night when he was going to be in Philadelphia Spectrum. So that night, I remember taking a picture with Harry Smith. He was like 5 years old. He was in the dressing room. I took a picture with him. So I never have a problem. Me and Davey Boy don't have a problem, and neither does me and Harry had a problem. But Harry, he brought up a situation where he went on a podcast with Jimmy Cordora, the former referee in WWF, and Donnie Da Silva, and he starts saying things about, hey, my friends in Gatineau, I can't wait to come back. I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. But you, Jacques Rougeau, I can't wait to be in the ring with you. And he made it like in a threatening way. And it was like, I thought it was funny. I said, well, okay, he's trying to get attention. He's trying to sell tickets, But then I saw him on another podcast, and he started explaining because the guy asked him, he said, why are you threatening Jacques in the Royal Rumble? He says, are you just trying to get publicity? Or this? He says, no. He says, dues got to be paid. And he says, Jacques, for the last 30 years, he's been knocking the British Bulldogs. He's been making us lose our legacy and everything. Instead of saying Dynamite Kid in every interview he does, it was always the British Bulldogs. He always incorporated my dad in that. And my dad wouldn't be very happy if he saw how Jacques talked about him, and I tried to explain. So I even called his mother, Diana. I'm friends with Diana, his mother. I said, Diana, I think Harry's been intimidated by other people. Somebody's in their ear and trying to stir up some gaga here, because I only referred to the British Bulldogs because that's how they were known, the British Bulldogs. But I said the incident was with Dynamite Kid. I said, I have no problem with Harry. And he says, oh, so she says, I know Jimmy, I know Jacques. I says, I'm going to talk to Harry. But ever since, she never called me back or never talked to me back. And I've heard 1 or 2 interviews now where Harry's saying things like, I'm not mad at Jacques, but I just want to give him a little attention, And he always has that face like he's bullying, like he's trying to bully me. And you know what? It's okay. If he's trying to sell tickets to get attention, he's got my attention. But I even had some people call me up and say, Jacques, maybe it'd be a good thing if you hurt yourself a week before the Battle Royal, the Royal Rumble, and you pulled out, and I'm saying, I'm not going to pull out. I said, I'm a businessman. I'm a professional, and so is Harry Smith. So when he comes in the ring, we have something to do out there, and we're going to do it professionally. And if ever it goes otherwise, then he'll be the one that's going to have to live with the consequences. Not about what I'm going to do, but how the wrestling business would look at him, how the wrestling promoters would look at him. So if he's serious to try to intimidate me, well, it's not working. I'm not pulling out of the Royal Rumble. I'm going in to do my job. I have so many fans in Quebec that are happy to see me in the Royal Rumble. There's going to be over 4,000 people at that show. There was 3,000 last year. It holds 5,000. I'm hoping to bring it up to 4,000 with my participation. But I certainly didn't want to bring 1,000 more people in by making them believe that me and Harry are going to go toe-to-toe because I'm not man enough to go toe-to-toe with Harry Smith. Let's be honest. And but I'm not going to pull out. And then if Harry Smith, you want to go down that lane, if you want to let people get in your ear, it's your prerogative. But I'm telling you right now, Harry, I have nothing against your dad. I got along really good with your dad. I have nothing against you. And it's going to stay like that. So that's the way I feel. I know how the boys are in this business. They like to stir up some things. And if you're not intelligent enough to see the difference between people coming to tell you that the stories about me talking about the Bulldogs, and if you can't recognize the difference of me talking about the Bulldogs as Dynamite Kid was the Bulldogs, then you're going to have to live with that.
Yeah, thank you. And you know why? I don't think he knows Jacques Rougeau very well, because one thing I know, you've never been intimidated by any match inside that ring or any fight. And that's what I've seen growing up. Do you have any response to Dynamite Doll or Diana Hart?
That was incredible too. Like I was at a Comic-Con a couple of weeks ago, and so this woman comes up to me and she wants to take a picture with me. So I say, sure. And she was pretty and everything. I said, sure, I'll take a picture. And so when she took the picture with me, I turned back around. And then she taps me on the arm and she says, do you know who I am? And I said, hey, that's my line. I am the Mountie. And, she says, no, do you know who I am? I said, no. She says, I'm Dynamite Kid's daughter. I died. Yeah. I died. I had no idea. I had no idea. I shocked. I died. I had mixed emotions. It took me like about 5 minutes to take my hands down. I felt empathetic. I felt I was ashamed. I was mad. I don't know how to explain how I felt, to be honest with you. And then by that time, after having my hands in my face like that, after 5 minutes, she says, it's okay, Jacques, I forgive you. And then I put my hands down. I was a little insulted by that because you forgive me. Like I was saying to myself, I didn't tell her that, but I was saying to myself, you forgive me for what? For sticking up for your dad who was a bully? Like, who beat me up in the dressing room. I don't want to. So, but I didn't say that. So that's why I had a lack of words. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. It was her dad. And it's bygones. It's been so long. And I didn't want to leave her with a bad impression. So finally after 20 minutes, we talked. And I told her how sorry I was that the event ever happened, that for me, the British Bulldogs were my idols when I came into WWF. They were such great talent. Dynamite was such a great wrestler, amazing. And then after 20 minutes of me telling her things like that, she says, Jacques, I would like to invite you on my podcast. And then I told her, I took a second, I looked at her and I says, okay. I said, I'll go on your podcast in one condition, that you let me tell the truth on what happened. And she says, sure. She says, so next week I'm supposed to do the podcast with her when she comes back from the Love of Wrestling over in Europe. She's there now. And then so she's coming back next week. I'm supposed to do the podcast, but I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm going to tell her exactly how it happened, but I'm also going to tell her the respect I have for her dad as a wrestler. And at the end of the conversation with her, which was even more amazing and surprised me, She asked me, she says, Jacques, would you mind? She says, I'm trying to induct my dad in the Hall of Fame. Would you sign the petition? I said, sure, right away. So I signed the petition. I'll do it. So we'll see how that goes. And then, it's like I said, if you have a chance, you can go on my Facebook, because I put I'm a public Facebook, so you can go on my Facebook and you can see the promo that Georgia sent me. Georgia, the mother of Harry Smith, she sent me a promo, which was very interesting, because I feel like we were friends for so long, me and Georgia. And, I started my career in 1977 for the Hard Top, in Stampede Wrestling. Yeah, Diana. Yeah. So Diana Hart, right? So Diana's Harry Smith, his mother. So go see the promo that Diana did. But the funniest thing in there is, like, she's sending me how do you say that? Comforting. She's trying to comfort me in her message, but at the same time, I see doubt in her eyes. I see doubt in her message. Like, she says, sometimes Harry's like this, but I don't think well, I don't think is not comforting, But anyway, so anyway, all that to say that everything's going to go down on the 30th of May in Gatineau, and I can't wait. What a great evening. Plus, there's so many great matches. One of the other match that's amazing too that is signed is Jesse V, who was a winner of Wrestling Academy, and he's going up against Jeremy Prophet, who he was a 2-time winner of Wrestling Academy, and then they're battling the championship, that title, one against each other, to see who's the real champion of Wrestling Academy. And I can't wait to see that match. The two of the best talents in Canada that are going to be there. So what a great evening it's going to be. And then in the afternoon, Ken, as you know, it's Legends Mania. It's a Comic-Con in the afternoon on the 30th, and that's going to be so amazing. You have you're going to have some talent like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You're going to have Coco Beware. I'm thinking of Jerry the King Lawler. I'm thinking of Jake the Snake. I'm thinking of Greg Dammer Valentine. I'm thinking of Sean Mooney. I'm thinking of Jacqueline. I'm thinking of Sarah Page, the China Syndrome. I'm thinking of the Headbangers. I'm thinking of and I'm forgetting some. The Fabulous Rougeau brothers. Raymond will be there, my brother too. And it's like such a great event that afternoon that people could come and meet the legends of the icons of their youth. Like, when they were young, when they used to watch TV. And so it's going to be absolutely an amazing day on the 30th of May in Gatineau.
That's amazing. You know what? My son lives in Gatineau. It might be a great time. And it's my birthday, May 31st, to join you that day. I would love to have you there, Ken. I would love to have you there.
That'd
be amazing. My last question for you. Returning to the ring in Gatineau for GPW Legends Mania, what excites you most about this hometown event?
Just the fact that that there's going to be like between 4,000 and 5,000 people to come in and see us, and it's a Quebec organization. It's it's not American. It's homemade. It's from Quebec, Canada, and it's like and the fact that that we're putting this event together. It's taking like almost a year to put this event together. You have no idea, Ken. I mean, you have no idea what I got into. I'm taking care mostly of the Legends Mania and booking the flights. It's like having a daycare, trying to get the guys to be happy the flights are taking or the hotels are taking, and then, oh no, I don't want an aisle seat, or I don't want this, or oh my God! I mean, it's such a hard time, and then the reservations to do everything, and then to get a promo from everybody, and there's so much more, and to put this thing together, it's much more time consuming than I thought it would be. But I'm living my passion, so that's fun. When you're doing what you like, at least time flies a little bit faster. But I think the most impressive thing out of this is if we could manage to get the people to come and encourage a local federation to draw 4,000 people or more. I think that's a home run. That's amazing. And I know that people are going to be very, very happy at the event. I got a couple of surprises that I can't tell you right now, Ken, but it's going to be amazing. In the Legends Mania in the afternoon, we have two big surprises that people are going to freak out. So people who come to that event in the afternoon, you could order right now on gpwlegendsmania.com or .ca. So it's GPA Legends Mania.
Can I ask you a question? What's the price for admission?
You know, that's something, it's not my end of the deal. I think it's like you could vary around $20, $25 for the event.
Very, very doable.
Very, very cool. In the afternoon, I think it's something like that, maybe $40 or $45 to meet all the superstars. And then if you want to buy pictures, it's up to you. But if you want to at least say hello to them and meet them, it's $45. It's very accessible, the price of the tickets. And you could go on my website, JacquesRougeau.com. You could follow on the website there. There's many ways you can get. You can go on the Slush Puppy Center website, and you could find the tickets there. But I think it's gpwlegendsmania.ca, legendsmania.ca. And if people want to come and have a great time and go back in time and think about the times when you were young and you used to watch the wrestling with your dad or your mom or your grandfather, whoever, and the time that people used to see on TV, they're going to be right there in front of you, and you'll be able to talk to them, and it's going to bring back so many great memories. And then plus the two big surprises I have, it's amazing for them. So hopefully we'll get to have you there on the 30th of May. Worst comes to worst, if you're coming from far away, make yourself a road trip. You know, get yourself a hotel and get yourself a road trip, a couple of friends, and come and spend the weekend. Get there on Friday night at the hotel and Saturday at the two double shows, the Legends Mania afternoon, the show that night where I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, and then after that, you know, you could sleep again and then leave on Sunday morning. What a road trip that would be!
It's a date. I'll use my son's condo for the weekend, even if he's away with his girlfriend in Thailand. It'll be a fun weekend. Thank you so much, Jacques. I'm going to sign off now. My name's Ken Judge here on Ken's Corner, and I've been with the Canadian legendary wrestler, Jacques Rougeau, and he told you how many different things he had at the start: the Quebecers, the Mountie, the Fabulous Rougeaus, 3-time Intercontinental Champion, and I think he had the only person to beat Hulk Hogan, the only Canadian to beat Hulk Hogan. You know what? It's because of who it is. I remembered everything you said during that part, Jacques. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you have a busy weekend coming up, and I appreciate your time from all the way down there in Florida.
Thank you so much, Ken. And it's 3 times WWF Tag Team Champions and 1 time Intercontinental.
I was almost right. I almost got it right.
It's okay, but I won the titles. I did what I had to do. And the greatest manager of all time, Jimmy Hart. Hats off to him.
That's right. And we all know how you won that Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah. But you know what? One thing I remember is the 2 iconic songs I had as the Mountie and the Fabulous Rougeau brothers. Remember one thing: the Mountie always gets his man. And the other thing you got to remember is we don't like heavy metal, we don't like rock and roll. All we like to listen to is Barry Manilow.
Thank you so much for coming on again, Mr. Jacques Rougeau.
Thank you, Ken.